One of the nastiest countries to deal with is Canada. The people that, now this was Trudeau, the people that good old Justin, I call him Governor Trudeau, his people were nasty.
Canadians are a gentle people, but once roused, they'll pull the sweater over your head and bat you about the ears with abandon. And I think that's what's happening now. Woe betide any premier, it seems, outside of Alberta, who would advocate putting booze on the shelf. I think it would be a political loser. Mark Carney just won again in Terrebonne. That's not because he's a deft politician, although he's turning into a deft politician. It's because Canadians are angry at Trump, and they want to send a message to Trump, and they're doing it via Mark Carney.
Okay, this order, it's a wonderful order, it's a beautiful order. This order is pulling American booze off the liquor mart shelves.
Canada gets a lot of freebies from us, by the way. They should be grateful also, but they're not. I watched your Prime Minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful. But they should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
America is not Canada. And Canada never, ever will be part of America in any way, shape, or form.
Ambassador specifically said that Canadians were mean and nasty for not buying American alcohol and for boycotting the U.S. in terms of travel. And at the same time, like, do they think that Canadians are not going to respond when the president says, I want to turn you into the 51st state and beggar you economically unless you bow to the U.S.? Like, obviously Canadians are outraged. I say Canadians stick with it, like, hold the line.
But now that the fight is here, we are sticking up for ourselves and we are pushing back. And today we're announcing that we're pulling $80 million out of the American economy. And that's just little old Manitoba. So I'm asking you to buy Canadian beer and to buy Canadian wine and Canadian liquor as part of us sticking up for our jobs and sticking up for our economy.
Trump's Commerce Secretary, as well as frequent character in the Epstein files, Howard Lutnick, went in front of the Senate today and said this about Canada.
It is outrageous that Canada will not put U.S. spirits on the shelf. It is insulting.
It is.
And disrespectful to America that they won't
Absolutely.
even put...
And my husband has an interest in a company that has American spirits. And they won't do it because of the insults from this president and comments like yours.
He basically said Canada owes its existence to the United States.
That was hugely disrespectful. And you now understand why Canadians have stopped buying American products like bourbon, why they stopped going to tourist destinations like Las Vegas. Every state can tell you how much their economy is losing because of those comments. But I think about the speech both in terms of how detached it was from what's going on in the United States. He claimed that inflation was under control, that our economy was doing great. So that is not understanding or acknowledging the financial insecurity of our families. But then he makes our country less secure based on calling into question global alliances that the rest of the world needs to believe that we are 100% committed to.
The beef between the US and Canada has just got even crazier because Canadians are now boycotting American vacations. In addition to Canadian retailers taking American brands off of shelves like meat and liquor and then replacing them with local brands, Canadians are now also going one step further and actually cancelling their travel plans to the US. Recent statistics show that there's about a 13% reduction in...
Trump now says that nasty Canada was meant to be a 51st state. In a Fox News interview, he called the people who worked for Justin Trudeau nasty and added, one of the nastiest countries to deal with is Canada. And when asked why Trump is tougher on Canada than on America's adversaries, he said only because it's meant to be a 51st state.
What is one country that you would not like to visit?
Currently, it's the U.S. I have no desire to be in the United States. I haven't visited the United States until a certain authoritarian populist took over the country.
Has U.S. affected Canada's economy a lot, do you think?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we've been hard intertrade partners for, many decades now.
Americans trying to dunk on Canada right now is literally so weird to me because, dude, your president is a convicted felon who's literally in the Epstein files, okay? Our prime minister is a world-renowned economist with a PhD from Oxford. We are not the same.
Dear citizens of Canada, most everybody in the United States is with you. If you don't want to buy our products, don't do it. Buy Canadian only. We'll be fine. Trust me, we'll be fine. We don't agree with Supreme Leader Trump. We don't agree with what he's doing. So you boycott us, and I'm with you, okay? Most of us are with you. If, for whatever reason, the U.S. invaded Canada, which won't happen, but if it did, I would side with Canada. I would fight with Canada, okay? I canceled my trip in the United States this summer, my summer vacation to the Jersey Shore, because I live near the Jersey Shore. I canceled my Jersey Shore vacation because I'm taking a vacation to Canada this summer and spending my money in Canada as a U.S. citizen. So please welcome me and my family with open arms. We are with Canada, okay? We are on your side. We will fight with you. And if you need to boycott the U.S. products, you do that. Do that. Show Trump he's wrong.
Some perspective for Americans who are going after Canada again. Look, Canada was disrespected by an ally, and they simply responded. It's well within their right to push back, all right? And just because they don't want to sell U.S. products anymore, doesn't mean you can get cranky about it.
Canadians are continuing to boycott U.S.-made goods, and actually, this has increased in Canada. This poll was conducted at the end of 2025. More than 8 in 10 Canadians report that they are less likely to purchase U.S.-made goods than before the tariffs were put in place on Canadian exports, to one extent or another. This is also a noticeable increase in comparison to last year. December 2024 was when the threats against Canada started. Buying less American-made goods is something that Canadians of all backgrounds are doing and all regions of Canada are doing.
You know, it's hysterical, the MAGA response to Canadians boycotting American products and canceling their trips to the United States. Well, we're not going to buy Canadian products. Honey, that's going to be hard because you can't even identify Canada on a map, let alone Canadian-made products. So good luck with that.
Nobody was buying the cheaper California strawberries. They are rotting on the shelves, and the expensive Canadian strawberries are almost gone. Canadians are just actively avoiding even the American products that haven't been hit with tariffs, even the American products that are still on store shelves. They're just ignoring them. I can go to in fact, I just was this morning shopping at my local grocery where there's Ontario strawberries and there's California strawberries. The California strawberries are now priced down to $3 for a carton. The Ontario strawberries are $6 for a carton. Nobody was buying the cheaper California strawberries. They are rotting on the shelves, and the expensive Canadian strawberries are almost gone. And that's just like, that's it. That's what's happened here. It's astounding to see.
Ontario residents are now canceling their trips to the U.S. to get back at Donald Trump. That's right, Ontario residents are now boycotting travel to the U.S. along with the boycott on American products and services, with people online saying if they hurt my country, I don't see why I should spend my money there. Many Canadian businesses are also exploring alternative international markets to reduce U.S. travel as Trump announced tariffs on steel and aluminum on Monday and vows to put tariffs on all Canadian imports next month.
So I'm in Orlando and it's peak March break, and I want you guys to take a look at what it looks like right now. It's literally just my kids and one other couple in the pool, and this is peak March break. I'm starting to think that Canadians are serious when they said that they're going to start boycotting America and American products.
I just want to know, is American boycotting still a thing? Are people boycotting U.S. products? Is the Made in Canada movement still strong? Last year, it was super, super strong around this time. I'm just wondering, is the Made in Canada movement still alive, or is it slowly dying again?
A lot of Canadians are still boycotting American products, companies, and are supporting local Canadian-made as much as they can, wherever they can. My question is, how long are you going to continue to boycott American products or companies? Is it a right now thing until things calm down, cool down, change? Is it a forever thing? Are you ever going to go back to the States? Are you ever going to buy made in the US or US products ever again? Or are you supporting local, supporting Canadian made forever now?
Yeah, so family, America spent years acting like Canada needed the United States more than the United States needed Canada. And politicians mocked Canada, online commentators laughed at the Canadians for boycotting American American products. MAGA influencers dismissed it as virtue signaling. They said Canada was too small to matter, too dependent, too weak to ever make America feel anything economically. But then something happened that completely shattered that illusion, family. The boycott actually started working, and suddenly people realized just how deeply connected America is to Canada in ways most Americans never even think about. And see, the average American hears Canada and thinks about maple syrup, cold weather, hockey, maybe even polite people. But what many don't realize is that Canada is one of the America's biggest trading partners on the entire planet. And so the economies are so connected that products cross the border thousands of times every single day. Factories in America rely on Canadian materials. American farmers depend on Canadian buyers. American stores rely on Canadian energy, resources, and even tourism money. And so entire industries quietly depend on Canada continuing to spend money in the United States. And when Canadians started pulling back, people began noticing very quickly. And at first, MAGA supporters online laughed at the boycott. They treated it like another internet trend that would disappear in a week. But then reports started coming out showing Canadian consumers intentionally avoiding American-made products in grocery stores. And so Canadians began canceling trips to the United States. Tourism numbers started dropping. Small businesses near border states quietly started talking about fewer Canadian customers showing up. And so hotels noticed it, restaurants noticed it, retail stores noticed it. And suddenly, the people who mocked Canada realized something uncomfortable, family, that this wasn't symbolic anymore, it was economic. And what makes this story so interesting is the irony. And for many years, so some Americans acted like America could stand completely alone while insulting allies at the same time. America First became more than a slogan for many people. It became this belief that America doesn't need anyone else, but global economies do not work like that anymore, especially not North America. Canada and America are tied together financially in ways that are almost impossible to separate without consequences, and you cannot insult your closest economic partner endlessly and expect zero reaction forever. And the reality is, Canada has leverage that many Americans underestimated. Energy is one example. Canada supplies huge amounts of oil and electricity to parts of the United States. Manufacturing is another. Agriculture is another. Even entertainment and tourism matter more than people think. Millions of Canadians travel to America every year and spend billions of dollars while doing it. And border towns especially rely heavily on Canadian visitors. And when those visitors disappear, family, local economies feel it immediately. And what really shocked people was seeing American businesses themselves start complaining, because unlike online political arguments, businesses care about money first. They don't care about culture wars when profits start falling. And that's when the narrative started changing. And suddenly, people who once mocked Canada started admitting that losing Canadian consumers was not as harmless as they originally claimed. And some business owners openly admitted that they underestimated how important Canadian spending was to their survival. And another reason this situation exploded online is because it exposed something bigger happening globally around the world. More countries are becoming very willing to push back economically against the United States when they feel disrespected politically. And for decades, many Americans assumed that foreign consumers could continue buying American products no matter what happened. But consumer behavior is changing, family. People are becoming more political with where they spent their money. And Canada's boycott became one of the clearest examples of the shift. And what makes MAGA reactions especially intense is that many of the industries affected the most at the industries that traditionally support conservative politics: farmers, manufacturers, small business owners, tourism-heavy communities. These are not abstract numbers on a spreadsheet, family. These are real businesses suddenly realizing that international relationships matter a lot more than political slogans. And honestly, family, this situation became a wake-up call for many Americans who never realized how interconnected modern economies really are. And so America is powerful, yes, but power does not mean isolation. Even superpowers rely on allies, trade partners, and neighboring countries. Canada may have a smaller population, but economically, strategically, and even geographically, it matters enormously to the United States. And the biggest lesson here is really simple, family. Never confuse size with irrelevance. Canada doesn't need to beat America to create pressure. It just needs to pull back enough to certain industries and to feel comfortable. And once businesses start losing money, politics suddenly change tone very fast. And that's why this story keeps going viral online, because it shattered a narrative. Many MAGA supporters generally didn't expect Canada to have this much influence over parts of the American economy. They didn't expect ordinary Canadians changing their buying habits to become more national, to become national conversation material. But now, the boycott has turned into something much deeper than shopping choices. It has become a symbol of how fragile economic relationships can become when politics, nationalism, and even global consumer behavior collide. And perhaps the most surprising part of all is that many Americans are only now discovering how much of their everyday economy quietly depends on the country right above them.